The Spotlight event was a shocker on a lot of levels, but what does it mean for the future of Overwatch? Let's have a look. The Spotlight event is a few hours behind us, and I've had a few hours of time to think about everything we got to see and what it actually means. Because this was a shocker of an event. It definitely was as big as I predicted, but in a very different way than I thought it was going to go. I even made a bingo card before I started my stream, and I ended up filling 4 squares. That's it. And that is because they surprised the hell out of me. And I guess all of us. They actually did everything that I did not expect them to do. Stuff that I've been saying like, I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if that is what they're going to do. That kind of stuff. They almost did it all. And they actually did not do a lot of the stuff I expected them to do. Like no return of 2CP, no team-ups, no Thundercats collab. But we got a lot of other stuff. Let me try and sum it up as best as possible, and I'm going to go a little deeper in every section. First off, Overwatch 2 went back to the original branding, Overwatch, which a lot of people had figured out. They also redid the whole UI of the game to make it more lean and easy to use, although it is going to require some time to get used to a new UI, but presumably, I think the idea is that once they're done, it should feel a lot better and easier. And you guys know I've complained about this. Quite a lot, actually. So let's see how that turns out next Tuesday. They're also resetting the seasons. So what was supposed to be Season 21 is actually Season 1. And they're actually going into a system where they have these yearly story arcs that are divided in 6 seasons. So every year we'll start out with Season 1, but then in a different arc. And this year that is the Reign of Talon. Now, that ties into a whole story that they will be telling in the ways that we're very familiar with. So that's comics, short stories, and yeah, the return of the cinematics. We actually got to see a first cinematic at the start of the stream. It is the cinematic laying out how Vendetta takes over Talon and kills, yeah that's right, kills Doomfist. Although, I mean, she kicks him out of the window and he kind of disappears in the void. Yeah, we didn't see any body or anything, so he might be back one day. On top of all that, they're going to be telling the story in the actual game, through challenges, through events, and, most importantly, through changes on the maps. Lore changes on the maps. That was just, it blew me away. If you have been following me for a while, you know that this is a topic I've talked so much about. It's not because we're playing a PvP game that they cannot tell lore in the game. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to show the story in the maps, the menus, the challenges, everywhere. The story is going to be pivotal, the backbone basically of your whole experience every season. For instance, I've seen a screenshot of a destroyed Gibraltar. At the end of that cinematic, we see Talon troops coming into Gibraltar, and apparently they're going to wreak havoc. But during the stream, we also saw Colosseo that looked very different, and there was a different version of Rialto that had a Vendetta statue. You know, in that first little square, if you come from the attacker spawn, there's a freaking Vendetta statue. Man, I'm very excited about this. Can you tell? On top of that, they're going to add new maps, like the Japan map that they talked about last year is going to happen this year. And there was an Iceland map that had like a huge mech robot lying there with a hole in the chest. You can tell that there's a story, and I can't wait to find out. They did, however, not talk about Atlantic ecology. But I think that one might be coming a little later because, well, it's tied in closer to Symmetra and Lifeweaver. I think there's a part of the story that needs to unfold first, where Symmetra realizes that Vishkar is as corrupt as... Wait, give me 1 second. As corrupt as... There we go. Now my editor doesn't have to kind of bleep it. I did it. Okay. Guys, it's been a long day. The one thing, however, to the whole lore that I secretly had hoped we would see was something like archives, and no. But now at least it doesn't look like that is happening. We'll see what your future brings. Another way that they're going to tell the story is through the heroes that we have in game, their voice lines, whatnot, their cosmetics, but also through all of the heroes that they're adding this year. And oh boy, there's a lot. We're going to get 10 heroes this year. 10. We went from 3 heroes a year to 10 this year. What the hell? 5 of them are going to release next Tuesday in Season 1. Emre, Anran, Domino, Mizuki, and Jetpack Cat. That's right. We're finally getting Jetpack Cat. Oh my god. That is the one hero I figured they would never add. Because some members, former members of the team have expressed that that was a little too silly, but Yeah, that's no longer the case. But we're getting 1 tank, 2 DPS, 2 supports. Nicely balanced. But that leaves us with 5 heroes that they're going to release every single season for the rest of the year. And I have a pretty good idea on who they'll be. But I'll make a completely separate video on that next. In other words, make sure to subscribe. But we won't have to wait too long. Because if they're going to release a hero every season, that is every 2 months. Or every 9 weeks. So I think for the one that is coming in season 2, we're already going to find out who it is in, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks. Because they want to ramp up the story, the lore, do the test event, if they're still going to do test events. And there we go. So 2026 is going to be pretty intense. Now, the big question I have right now about all these heroes is if they're going to keep up the tempo in 2027. Are they going to release a single hero every season? Because, yeah, this is 10 years of Overwatch. I get it. 10 heroes. Makes sense. They're not going to start out the year with another 5 heroes in 2027. I think the chances for that happening are pretty low, although at this point, I don't know anymore. So we could well go to a system where they release a hero every single season. Now, my personal opinion about this. Don't get me wrong, there's a part of me that is super excited to see so many heroes at once. It actually brings back that same feeling I had in 2016. That feeling like all these characters I have to discover. And I think that is perfect for the 10-year anniversary. But when it comes beyond that, I'm a tiny bit worried. Not necessarily about the quality of the heroes that they're going to push out, nor about the variation. Because, again, we got Jetpack Cat. The Pandora's box has been opened. And at the bottom of that box is Mama Hung in a swimsuit. Anything can happen right now. Oh boy. And when it comes to the quality, I read an article on CNET where they did an interview with a few people on the team, and it was Dion Rogers, I think, who said that they didn't really cut any corners when it comes to developing those 10 heroes that they're going to release this year. They gave him the same level of attention that they did before. The thing is that they have managed to shrink their pipeline when it comes to releasing and producing new heroes from 8 months and more to 4 months, which makes a huge difference. If on top of that you have a few teams kind of simultaneously doing their thing, you can get 10 good heroes out in 1 year. Afterwards, Alec also chimed in and said that they're being very careful with the balancing, especially when it comes to overtuning some of the new heroes. Things they have done with the last 2 heroes, they always started very strong. They want to kind of step back from that a little bit because we're getting 5 heroes in one blow and then a new hero every 2 months, which I think is a good choice. They're also breaking up all of the roles and sub-roles, and each sub-role is going to get their own passive, which gives them an extra tool to kind of balance around. It's an extra button to push, an extra dial to turn, so I think they have things under control. We'll see and find out. But I'm not too worried about all of that. What I'm actually worried about is I don't think Overwatch is the type of game that needs 100 heroes. Because at this rate, we're going to get there pretty fast. With Season 1, we're going to hit the 50 hero mark. The thing is that Overwatch is very reliant not only on you understanding your hero that you are playing, but also you understanding all of the other heroes that could possibly be on the battlefield. Because all of the abilities, all of the characters are so outspoken and so different, will have a very different impact on what you're doing exactly, that you need to understand what is coming at you. I think every Overwatch player gets that. And that is going to become increasingly more difficult. Not for us players that play this game on a daily basis, but mainly for players that took a break and for new players. There's a reason that I never jump into games like League of Legends, or that I look at a game like Deadlock and I kind of squint my eyes to try and figure out what all these heroes are. Although it's a great game, I would highly suggest that you try it. And that is because there is a substantial amount of heroes. Deadlock is still reasonable, League of Legends is not. And I think players will kind of run into that same issue when they try to jump into Overwatch. But we'll see. We'll see when we hit that issue how they're going to deal with that. For now, I'm just going to enjoy the hell out of discovering all of these new heroes. Because, like I said at the start of this little rant, I am super excited about that. By the time this video releases, Anran should be available in the game for a test event. Now, why they picked Anran specifically? No idea. I think it has something to do with the fact that she's Wu Young's sister. It was introduced pretty early. But next Tuesday, all of them are going to join the roster. So all 5 of them. And on that same day, we're going to get a Mythic weapon skin for Juno. A very cute blaster, very on brand for Juno. A Mythic hero skin for Mercy. Guys, I had someone in my stream at the start going, if they give Mercy her next Mythic skin, I don't know what they were going to do. Jump off their desk or, I don't know, eat a bag of peanuts. And my reaction was like, come on, dude. I don't think they're going to do that. Well, they did. When I saw that skin, I made a bit of a hissing sound. Like, that one. Because why is Mercy getting a second skin before so many other heroes have not even gotten their first? And don't get me wrong, I actually like the skin better than the original one. I didn't like the original one at all. I got a lot of hate from my tier list about the hero skins, where I put that one really low. There were even some family members that refused to talk to me. So, no guys, look, it's quite obvious that this is going to get some pushback. The Mercy Mafia is extremely happy. I've seen it all over the place, but not everybody is that excited. And to make things even worse, I don't want to pile on or anything, but in that same CNET article that I read, they also mentioned that Genji and Ana are also getting a second Mythic skin this year before some of the others. I mean, I love Ana. I don't like her Mythic skin. So again, I'm quite happy and curious to see what they're going to do. On the other hand, Genji is my favorite Mythic skin they've ever made. So I don't know why they had to kind of reprise him, but you know, it is what it is. Let me just repeat what I said earlier. In any case, the second Mythic skin that we're getting in Season 1, so around mid-season, is going to be for May, the Ice Demon. Although her skin does not look like an Ice Demon. It looks pretty cute. And then later this year, we're going to get one for Iyari that we got to look at because there was a press image that went around. And then Soldier and Maga are also getting one later this year. And when it comes to the weapons, there's going to be Genji, Hanzo, and Soldier. But on top of all the mythics, they also showed off a ton of other skins that we're going to get. They showed them off both during the Spotlight event, just in all of the trailers and whatnot, but also afterwards in all of the press images they released. Like the Battle Pass skins for Season 1. They're all either Talon or basically the new Overwatch themed. Well, we're going to get some really unique Valentine skins in the shop for Soldier, who looks like Prince Charming. And then there's Hazard in a very skimpy outfit. Imagining seeing Hazard running around in his backyard, watering the plants in that suit. Scary. There's a piggy Roadhog that looks extremely fun. And voice skins for Sigma and Venture, on top of a Hello Kitty collab. Where's Thundercats? I mean, Hello freaking Kitty? For competitive players, it's going to be the yearly reset, which comes with a new weapon variant. And they did not take any of my suggestions I did in the video last week, but one is pretty close. They definitely went for that talent team that I had in mind. But instead of going for the Shadowy Mist, they went for Crimson Wolf, which is like the same misty thing, but a little more to the red because of Vendetta, because she looks reddish and she is a wolf. So it's all kind of tied into that central team again. And look, it might not be what I predicted, but it looks really badass. I like it. Talking about Vendetta, she's going to be joining Stadium in Season 1, and she's the only one. It looks like they're slowing down the tempo at which they put new heroes into Stadium. We also got to see on the roadmap that Ramatra is going to be added in Season 2, all by himself too, so I think from now on, they're just going to add one hero every season, most likely. In that same Stadium, they're also introducing a hero builder, and this is going to allow new players to jump into Stadium. It's a way that you don't necessarily have to figure out all of the items and powers at the first moment. It's going to do suggestions, give you a few picks. It's easy mode Stadium, or at least easier mode Stadium. When it comes to the core game modes, we can expect a lot of perks, but they didn't really elaborate on it. We got to see some of them throughout the presentation, but I think in the coming days, we'll definitely hear more about all of that. They also shared that the end of match vote is coming back. So remember the vote cards from back in Overwatch 1? That is happening in Season 2. But we're not getting the cards, we're getting all of the 3D models, which is basically, like I always say, what Blizzard does. They take a feature that we want and they kind of one-up it. They go the extra mile. And I think that is basically the whole theme of the Spotlight event. They take what we as player base have communicated that we want and they just take it to the next level. They have been very focused on fan service, on collaborating, on making this game together. And I think that is an amazing choice and we're seeing the results in a very spectacular way, especially during this Spotlight event. A lot of the stuff that I have been talking about, complaining about, pointing at in the last few years are actually happening right now. And it's throwing me off a little bit. Good to be honest, but in a good way. I mean, yeah, I expected their big swing to be more focused on gameplay. Like I said, those team-ups, the return of 2CP, the map modifiers, and my slight and secret hope to get something like Archives back. The thing is, of course, that the stuff that they showed us is the tip of the iceberg. This year, Overwatch is turning 10 years old, and they haven't really shown a lot of what we can expect beyond Season 1. Most of the spotlight was actually focused on what is coming next, except for stuff like the anniversary event, which is coming in Season 2, and then the other heroes that will be released season after season. But that exactly leaves a lot of room for spectacular things to still happen, because they're going to keep the foot on the throttle throughout the whole year. Again, this is the 10th anniversary of Overwatch. This is a new era. This is a new Overwatch with the old logo. Season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they all are going to have big chunks of content. And some of them will have a longer lasting impact on the game than others, but I think they still have a few big surprises up their sleeve for the rest of the year. In other words, to conclude this whole video, it was a hugely packed spotlight presentation with a lot of short-term plans that will have a long-term impact. Different plans than I anticipated, but very, very exciting nonetheless. This was a big swing. A swing that is going to resonate with the current player base. It already does in a big, big way. I can tell it from the enthusiasm I see in my own community, but also with former players that have abandoned the game and those potential future players. Team 4 just lit a beacon that is shining brighter than I've seen it in a very, very long time. They drew the line in the sand, making clear that this game is here to stay, that they have a long-term plan, and that they're planning to rumble on whatever level we want to rumble. You know what? I can't wait. It is an exciting time to be an Overwatch player and an Overwatch creator. I have so many videos to make. I better get started. But before I go, what did you think about the Spotlight event? Let me know in the comments or come tell me during my streams over on twitch.tv/GamesTV. See you there. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons and YouTube members. You too can become a member over on patreon.com/theomnicpost and right here on YouTube to unlock exclusive rewards. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.